I want to replace oil seeds. I want Indian cars to run on biofuel made from hemp seed oil. I want to fly a national flag made out of hemp-based fiber. I want to make medicines that replace all pain and opioid-based medicines only out of one crop. And he says, you know what, I'm with you. That changes the game in your mind. Then you know you're on the way to being unstoppable because the wind is beneath your wings. The story first traces back to the first meeting us founders had together. It was at the end of the first year or the second year of BOHECO. We sat down in one room, set up a lot of visioning exercises. Where do we want to be? One of my jobs that I had done was back in 2013, I had created a roadmap of BOHECO 2063. Where do we want to be in 40 or 50 years from now? And part of the roadmap, one of the questions we had, and we had these crowdsource information, get everyone's opinion. They said, say if your dreams are fulfilled, who was the first investor you want in BOHECO? And everyone had to write anonymously. And I kid you not, we pulled out every single chit and every single chit had one name, Ratan Tata. Fast forward a few years, there was an event by this organization called X-Bright. We didn't know Mr. Ratan Tata was going to be there, but we already had a game plan that if ever we were to meet him, there would be a certain type of flow we would take to this as well. So that's where we essentially sat down. When we look in front, we look at the stage, the event's not started, and lo and behold, Mr. Tata sitting front row. You can spot his grey hair, you can spot his his sturdy gait, he has a certain mannerism. We said, okay, this is a once in a lifetime event, you got to go for it. So we decided to lay out like a little bit of a tactical masterclass, if I'd like to call it. One of the founders decided they're going to ask a question around hemp or cannabis at the end of the event, stir a little hornet's nest, stir a little interest. One of us would camp outside to see if we can get his attention, and then the third would be at the exit. So because he has to enter and exit from one direction, so let's aim let's be multi-directional. This is your make or break chance. Lo and behold, what essentially occurred is Mr. Tata had to use the restroom in the middle of the function. I watched him walk into the lavatory, and I guess something just went off, said, this is your moment. Because and one thing to learn about Mr. Tata is he doesn't have Z plus security, he doesn't have an entourage, he's very low key, prefers his time, his mental space, etc. So I followed him into the lavatory, and of course, you follow the rules, allow him to finish off, wash his hands, and I wait at the sink and I use the key terms. I already rehearse this in my head a million times if I enter the washroom. Say, Mr. Tata, I'm Parsi, working in agriculture, working on hemp. I have 45 seconds. The moment I say hemp, he said, oh, that's interesting, I've heard of that. What he does is next, he gives me his card, his personal visiting card, in the middle of Blue Frog's bathroom, and he hands this over to me and says, get in touch with my assistant. I'd love to meet you to learn more about this. I said, I'd love to. A few days after, I start reaching out to his assistant, who is a wonderful human being. We're still very close. We still keep closely in touch. Month 1 goes by. Month 2 goes by. Month 3 goes by. It took us 8.5 months to get that first meeting. 8.5 months. Every day we had to call for 10 days. Every day. And finally, we built such a good rapport that they heard the good morning in my voice and they knew who it was. And touch wood, they were so accommodating, polite, and I would say respectful of us young entrepreneurs that we were so pleasantly surprised. And essentially what occurred is after about 8.5 months, we get a call saying, okay, we have a meeting on this date with Mr. Tata and the 7 founders. Said, look, all 7 can't go. It'll be overwhelming. It'll be a khichdi, chaos and confusion. You're talking about this here, talking about this there. A small team will go. 3 of us decided to go. We walk into Mr. Tata's office. The first thing we see, and that immediately makes us comfortable, right in the middle of his office floor, like the common area of the office, his pet dog is sleeping. Just sleeping right there. As soon as we saw that, we're like, okay, this is the place we need to be. The second pleasant surprise for us, we peep into the room and he's getting done, Mr. Tata's, they're getting done with the meeting. And out of his room, he walks out alone. And he said, hi guys, it's been a long time, come inside. So what we thought would turn out a meeting with his team turns into a 3-hour one-to-one meeting with only Mr. Ratan Tata and 3 of us boys, telling him everything. Where we started, what do you want to do? And with every anecdote, his eyes lit up further and further. I could see that excitement, him getting younger and younger in his face. By the end of it, he said, guys, how can I help? We said, we need your mentorship. We definitely need some guidance from the investment point of view. We need some support from the trust, some research support. He said, anything. Whatever we need to do, we will do together. And that led to a series of a couple of other meetings with the senior team, himself involved, and within a month, a couple of months, we had brought him on board as our first investor.